He's a Hall of Famer and a BYU grad. Oh, sorry about BYU. It was good while it lasted, Steve.
That's bogus. I heard you pick Kansas, man. That's just like a random pick. We played
Well,
terrible. Jeez, we
no,
played
but I don't
terrible.
have a bias here. My
You just
job is to
felt
be
it.
a journalist, Steve.
You just felt
Yes,
it. Yeah.
yeah, that's all.
The eye test. The
Sorry.
eye test. Well, yeah, we were terrible. Sorry about that. Man.
Yeah, you're still in the mix.
Still in the mix. It's
Keep
fun.
your
It's
head
fun to
up.
be in the mix. It's
Yeah.
fun to get out of independence and get in the mix. Uh yeah, for sure.
If can you explain the Joe Burrow situation here of 27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions? He's had 3 games of over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Statistically, it's almost impossible to lose those games. How is it happening?
It's all the classic stuff. The game. I mean, I don't want to be like the old man, get off my yard, but I mean, the game, because of safety, they don't have as much time together. OTA, a couple OTAs, a couple of weeks of no hitting summer camp, and let's play some ball. And that's more college like, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so the game has been simplified. And so, you have these kings that can do some amazing things, but there's just bad defense, penalties, big mistakes, classic football stuff that you can't get over. And the Bengals, I mean, they have a history of that, right? They just seems like they never put it all together. Now they did obviously for the Super Bowl run, but it's hard to think that you got Joe Burrow playing lights out football and you can't win. Everyone, I think what you got to do is not look at Joe Burrow. You probably have to look at everyone else, including we don't do a good job of looking at the owner either in the NFL. And I think we should do more of that personally, because I think it speaks to a lot of what's happening on the field. Of course, we can't fire the owners and, the equity owners in the league who have, who have made $500 million a year for the last 20 years in equity value. So it's not like I'm not saying it's the owner's fault. I'm just saying when things look really weird, go to the top and then work down kind of thing.
Josh Allen running the football. I mean, we've talked about this that if you were playing now, you'd be running more. But I think when he runs, I feel safer for him running than I do, a lot of these quarterbacks because he's so big. But
Yeah.
the designed runs, or are they designed runs? And how does he run maybe differently than other quarterbacks?
Well, are you a skier, Dan? I mean, skiers understand how to get to the ground. Bad skiers blow their knees out, right? Good skiers get to the ground they know how to get to the ground. And there is a talent to it. There's a knack. I think it's natural in some people's instincts and others can learn it. And he just has a knack of getting to the ground in a safe way that's despite the fact that he can be acrobatic at it too. And I see that in him. Even when he's jumping over somebody, he's looking to get to the ground. Strangely, I know it sounds a little weird, and I think that they're putting in the ball in his hands out of the huddle, which is cool. But like the end of the game yesterday, I mean, that's just him winning the football game. But that is football today. He is the prototype. Patrick prototype. Lamar prototype. If you don't have closer, I've always said the NFL, because of rule changes and safety, it's more like the NBA. It's 3.5 quarters of whatever, and then there's who's got a closer, who's got the guys in the NBA that can go close the last couple of possessions and make it happen. And inevitably, look at Jordan Love yesterday. Look at Geno Smith yesterday. Look at with Josh Allen. I mean, the big games are being won by the guys that are sophisticated passers. You have to be that in the NFL. You have to be a sophisticated passer. You can't play without it. But you also have to be somebody who can be a closer and go make those games and make it happen. That's why Patrick Mahomes has done it for forever. And that's why that was such an epic football game yesterday. I don't know about you. It was fun to watch really good football, both even defensively, like innovation, what they were doing with protection, what they're doing with blitzes, what they were doing on offense. Both coaches pouring out everything they have against each other. That was a good watch yesterday with Bills Chiefs. So I loved it.
Did it change your opinion on who's the team to beat in the AFC?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Super Bowls are going to be won. I said 3-4 years ago, the Super Bowls are going to be won over the next 10 years between Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes. It's going to go around in a circle. Well, it hasn't gone around in a circle. It's stuck on one guy. But I still believe the same thing. Now, Lamar Jackson's going to jump in the middle of it. He's going to say, look, it's going to be now Joe Burrow can't get enough help to get it done. So Lamar Jackson's going to be one of them. So it's just going to go. Those are the guys going to win the Super Bowls because those are the guys that can go close in the biggest games. And so, yes, you can say Josh Allen, the Bills are favorites and have proved it on the field. But again, in some ways, if they're at home and they get to skip one of the games, like those three guys are going to have to play each other. I've always said the guy that has to play the other twice doesn't have a chance. You can't beat each other twice. You can beat each other once. And so I think that's why the Bills are favorites right now.
Steve Young, the Hall of Famer, joining us. Are the Niners still a Super Bowl contender?
Yeah, I want to say yes. Obviously getting healthy, but how healthy can you get? Defensively, we're in the middle of the pack, maybe a little bit above average. Offensively, in the red zone, last year, the stat that blew my mind. I don't know if you and I have talked about this, but last year, behind the line of scrimmage passes, screens, quick, all that kind of jet sweeps. I mean, not jet sweeps, but all this quick passes behind the line of scrimmage. They led the league in yards per attempt by throwing behind the line of scrimmage last year. It was an incredible run, an incredible year of things just working, all the talent, just amazing. And this year, they're not even close to that. Red zone, not even close to what they were last year. So they're not acting like a team that's going to threaten, especially if you talk about the biggest game against one of the big three, Lamar, Josh, and Patrick. But they play the Bills in a couple of weeks, Dan, and I think it's worth paying attention to that game to see if we can get right.
What is it like to be on the sidelines when you're watching a closer on the field and you can do nothing?
Well, I think it's awesome, right?
But you're watching somebody close out your team.
Well, I love, Bill Walsh is the one that told me, Steve, if you can become a sophisticated passer and can run, it's the ultimate weapon. And that was 1987. Most everyone else was looking at me like I was like an oddity. Like he's lefty. Get him off the field. He's a scrambler. He sucks. And today's game, it's so fun for me to watch the guys that have become sophisticated. I mean, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are sophisticated passers of the football. They can stand up against anybody who's ever thrown the ball from the pocket, but they have the ability and because the game has come to them and it's more wide open. Remember the rule changes, Dan. I don't know if we talked about it. I'm sure we have. The rule changes when they didn't let defenders launch anymore. It essentially made the field bigger, like a Canadian League field. It was just more space. And those guys are filling it up with their bodies and their legs, which is pretty cool.
How do you remember being upset at your kicker, but you can't verbalize it? Like you have to be careful with the camera is going to be on the quarterback if your kicker misses some kicks there. How do you disguise that?
Such an odd thing, Dan. A kicker, when he gets on the bus, you're like, who's that guy? Oh yeah, he's our kicker. I forgot about him. Because they don't practice with you. They don't really do anything. You break down the end of practice. They're not there. Every once in a while you do some kicking in front of the whole team and everybody's like, if he misses, I'm going to, you think it is a commodity. And the kickers are getting so good, Dan, today that a 50-yard field goal is now kind of a commodity. It's like, oh yeah, they'll make that. So in that way, the expectations have gone even higher. And when people miss and when they lose games, there's nothing worse than being a kicker. I would never do it. They can't get paid enough to, do nothing, warm up, sit around for 3 hours, then go out there and say, 80,000 people just screaming in your ear ball. And now you got to drill one from 58 with a wet field. And, it's like, forget that job. That's like Olympic gymnastics. Run down the runway, flip, land. Oh, you took a step. Sorry, go home. We'll see you later. Take care. Good luck. That was awesome. 10 years of preparation. Sorry about that. That's just not a job I want. I want to be able to throw the ball in a general vicinity of Jerry Rice and have him just go fix it all. That's what I want.
Okay. I want a yes or no answer. Are kickers football players?
Of course, they're football players. In
Okay.
fact,
All right.
the
Yeah,
best
okay.
ones. Now, look, I will tell you this: kickers that will go clean up, or the guys that will go tackle. Like you got to play football. I love quarterbacks. Throw interception, guys running for 6, go chase it down and clean it up. That's part of the job. So yes, they're on the field, they're making big plays, and the clutch kickers, frick that. I've just told you that's amazing. So yeah, but I want kickers to go clean it up. Like if something happened, block field, go clean it up. And I appreciate people that you put the pads on, you got to make a tackle, go chase it down and make it happen.
I don't want my quarterback chasing down somebody because you threw an interception.
Dan, I know, the fantasy people don't get injured and be careful. Your mom, all the moms out there, don't do anything. Come on, man. We got to play the game, bro. And you've got to clean up your mess. That's just fundamental to quarterbacking. If I see a quarterback throw an interception and guy's going for 6 and he doesn't even try, kind of a couple jogs and then says, oh, sorry. Or he could have made a tackle but runs out of bounds and trips. Bro, no. No,
you know how many career tackles you had?
Don't tell me
you had zero. You had 0 career tackles.
That's false. I flipped Deion Sanders after he intercepted me. I chased down some guys, and when I tackled him, all the sidelines was like, damn, bro, he ran you down. Like I could run some people down.
Well, I know you could do that. I know you could run people down. I have the official NFL stats.
I have made tackles. You could win. I'm sending the clip right now. It's like I was drafted by the Dodgers. I told you I was drafted by the Dodgers.
You were not. Paulie, what do you have for me?
I have a couple things. According to footballreference.com, the official stats, you have no tackles, but I have the video, and you flipped Deion Sanders over.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, I made a tackle against the Bengals at home. I can remember them because I had to go clean up my mess, Daniel.
Okay, but when Peyton Manning would go into a fetal position after throwing a pick, you had a problem with that.
Yes, of course I did. Now, I look, I want to see the film of that because I don't think Peyton would do that. I think Peyton.
Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
His instinct is to go. I can't believe that Peyton's instinct is not to go clean it up. Absolutely,
he can't. He's not athletic enough to. He can't.
I
understand
he's not athletic
enough.
But look. All I want is the intent. Like Tom would throw interception, you could see Tom would start and go, "I'm going to clean it," and then he'd like, okay, maybe not. But the intent was there. The intent was there.
Could you run backwards faster than Peyton Manning could run forward?
I don't know. Peyton's they're both sneaky, but
you could run backwards faster than he could run forward.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not going to get into that one.
Deion could run faster backwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Deion was faster than everybody. In fact, I would not throw it over towards him sometimes because I couldn't. You know how you get used to stuff. You get it. Like it makes sense. It's rational to the human brain. Deion would move and it wouldn't. It's like hyperspace. Like you just all of a sudden he was in a new place. I'm like, wait. My eyeball did not figure that one out. So I quit throwing over there a little bit. It's like if I can't rationalize about where his body is and where I can throw it, then I'm just not going to touch it. Dude's crazy.
That's great. Yep. He
that's great.
One of the great tacklers in NFL history, Hall of Famer Steve Young. Great to talk to you again, Steve. Yeah, clean up your mess. Clean up your mess. Thank you, buddy.
See you, buddy.
We'll take a break. We'll come back after this.